This is abnormal entertainment. And I totally didn't make that sound with my mouth just now.
Raise your spirits.
Raise your spirits with
Raise
Cam
your
and Kevin.
spirits.
Raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin.
Raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin.
Raise your spirits with Cam and
Raise
Kevin.
your spirits.
Raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin.
Raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin.
I sound like an asshole.
It's time to fill your glass and raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin.
Good evening, ladies. This is Kevin Moyers.
And good evening, gentlemen. This is Cam Harston.
And we'd like to give a little thank you to David Hayes for introducing us there. He is the godfather of the abnormal entertainment world. He's the point where it all starts from. And
yes,
attach the rest of us to it, and we're all helping it grow. So this is the Raise Your Spirits podcast, and there's a nice little double meaning to that. I want to give you a little something to look forward to every week, and we also like to have a nice little drink while we have our conversations. That's what Cam and I like to do.
Indeed.
Yeah, and what are you drinking right now?
I am drinking New Amsterdam gin mixed with tonic and bitter lime.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've got a super manly Tanqueray and pink lemonade.
Oh, wow. I forgot to mention the fact that mine is super manly, too, by the way.
Yeah.
I bet my cup is bigger than your cup.
I got a pretty big cup, but I also have a pink straw to go with my pink lemonade.
Oh, well, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
You should have said good evening to the gentleman.
Yeah, maybe I should have. Well, we can get into that a little bit because the way we're set up. I'm in Phoenix. You're in LA.
Yep.
We do this over Skype, and a lot of people don't know how the hell we got to be friends and how things happened here.
We get that question so much. I think because we're so the same, yet so different. So a lot of people wonder, like, how the hell did these two guys meet and become friends, you know?
Right. And to me, this is a guys show, and we'll talk about guys kind of things, which we generally do anyway. That's the kind of conversations we have. And
Yep.
when you think about the way guys are different from women, guys have a much easier time making friends. And I've had many friends that started out as enemies even, and
Really?
that are still friends today. Yeah, and guys are so different that way. It's easier to make friends. I've always had an easier time, and not every guy, of course, but women don't have that. Yeah. So and you, God, I've seen you do it here when you come out to visit, like making friends with half the neighborhood.
I have no problem making friends. I usually have no problem making friends, especially with. We'll get into that later, especially with guys. But yeah, I have no problem making friends just in general.
Right. And, it's probably a personality thing. I mean, we're doing this, so that shows that we like to be out there and open to people. But it was pretty simple. The way we got to be friends was we started talking about this radio show that we liked, and we started having a conversation, and then we get into, deeper topics and more interesting things like that, and then...
This was all online, right? Was it via MySpace or had we discovered Facebook at that point?
I think it started with MySpace, and that's when...
I think it started with MySpace, yeah.
Yeah, MySpace started to sort of take a little bit of a decline. I mean, before what it is now. But that had to be, probably almost 3 years ago?
Somewhere around there, somewhere close to 3 years ago.
And somewhere in there we decided let's jump over to Facebook, because you could chat on Facebook and stuff like that, and Facebook was just starting to gain popularity. And I probably had one for a couple of years before I even did anything with it, because I was so used to MySpace all the time.
Yeah, same with me. Right now I can't even remember how MySpace works, but at the time I was so used to MySpace, and I had a Facebook also myself for a few years, and I was like, I pretty much created a new one because I couldn't remember my name or password or anything like that. But yeah, we eventually moved to Facebook.
Yeah, and we had it's like just all kinds of like life conversations, and it just very interesting things about, be it about dating or people we've been with and life situations and I think if we're talking 3 years ago, then I was going through some pretty crazy shit, so we were talking about that.
Yeah, you were.
And we'll of course get into all of that stuff, but and then you started talking about experiences that were similar and things like that, and that was it. I mean, we're just all right. We're buddies now.
Right. Exactly. It just kind of happened. Wasn't really overnight, but it kind of happened eventually. And we always said, if you're in LA, then come check me out and we'll hang out. And you told me, and vice versa. You told me if you're ever in the Phoenix area, come
Right.
check me out. Eventually, it got to a point where, one day I think I would guesstimate maybe 8-9 months in, somewhere close to a year. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm coming out there.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's meet.
Well, and the thing too is at that point you had been talking with some of my friends here, and I was already talking to some of your friends over there, like through the Facebook threads, like like it happens. And I think you sent a couple of us a message like, I'm coming out. I think I'm gonna do it. Where'd you used to take vacations regularly? Where did you go?
I used to go to Mexicali, Mexico,
Okay.
every 3 months. I have a buddy out there. I have a buddy in Mexico, so that used to be my every 3 months vacation.
Right.
And now, well, people don't know. I come out to Arizona every 3 months now.
Right.
But beforehand, a few years ago, I used to go to Mexico every 3 months. But now, since this shit is crazy in Mexico now.
Right.
So, and now it's actually a little bit cheaper. I used to go to Mexico on the Greyhound, and
I can imagine that bus ride.
yeah, it wasn't all that bad.
Yeah.
It sits from where I am. It's about 6 hours. 6 hours and a little bit of change, and
Well,
maybe $60-$70 round trip.
when my brother was in the Marines, my brother Jeff, I picked him up at the bus station once in downtown Chicago, and I didn't know. I felt like I walked into some kind of weird, like, it's like the cantina at Mos Eisley. You know what I mean? Like there was
Where did you pick? You picked them up downtown LA?
downtown Chicago. And,
Chicago.
This is I'm trying to think of when he was in the Marines. He was a little more than halfway through when 9/11 happened. So we're talking. It was probably in 2000 when I picked him up at the bus station. You had everything from Amish people to people without teeth to like it was just the craziest mix of people. I swear to God.
To your basic homeless people.
Yeah. Oh, it was like, and he's just like, yeah, it was. Whatever. It's just.
Yeah.
He said there were some strange ass people on the bus, so I can imagine the bus to Mexico has to be drunken college kids, maybe some Marines from San Diego.
Yeah, you would think that. I was going to Mexicali. Mexicali is just pretty much just a normal city. It's not a tourist destination. So you would think, yeah, that's the first thing I thought too when I started heading on the bus over there. But not so much. It was just a lot of it. There's about let's see, I would say 1 billion, maybe 1.5 billion stops on the way to Mexicali.
Yeah.
So most of those people were going to destinations in California, like far up in California.
Gotcha.
By the time we got to get ready to cross the Mexico border, it was usually me and maybe about 2 older Mexican ladies.
So that's just like a border city, or?
Yeah, it's directly on the border. You have Calexico and
Oh, okay.
It's pretty much just right there. If you know Calexico, then that's Mexicali.
Gotcha. That's pretty creative. Calexico on one side and Mexicali.
I know, right? Nice naming.
That's all right. In Arizona, we got Nogales and Nogales.
What the?
Yeah, like
Nogales?
straight south of Tucson, you'll hit. I don't know if it's one big. I've never been there. I've never had any desire to go to Mexico. I don't know why, but it's. I don't know if they're sister cities or if it's like one big city that's divided by the country line. I have no fucking idea. But I guess you used to be able to walk across, and it was like no big deal. You just cross the line, and you're there. So. I don't know how it works now with passports and all that shit. I don't even own a passport. I've never been outside of the U.S., so
I don't know. I've been outside the U.S. Just as far as Mexico, but since I live in California, I don't think that really counts. But
Yeah,
I've never
yeah.
owned a passport either.
Hey, were you ever? Well, you were in the military too. You were in the Air Force. So were you
I
on
was in the Air Force, yeah, but I didn't. I never left anywhere. I went to Texas for boot camp, Mississippi, which is the most racist place I've ever been. On a side note,
it?
Mississippi for tech school or technical school, and spent out the rest of my days in Colorado Springs, Colorado,
Yeah.
with all the white folks.
Yeah, but Colorado can't be too bad overall.
No,
Or-
Colorado was good. Mississippi is the nightmare of my military career, my short Air Force career. How I did my 4 years and got out, but yeah, Colorado was great. I actually liked it a lot.
Yeah, my dad was up there for a while, and him and my stepmother were talking about like, Dad, they could retire there, kind of thing. But who knows? But
Yeah.
but anyway, we'll get back to what like how we got together. You were going
Yeah,
to
how we
Mexico.
met.
You were going to Mexicali every 3 months, and that was getting crazy. So you decided to finally come out here, and
Yeah.
it's pretty
I made you my
much.
second choice. I'm like, Mexico's crazy. I guess I can meet this new guy on the internet now.
Yeah, and you've been coming out here for how many times you been out here now?
I couldn't put a count on it, but I'm pretty sure it's either been. I know it's definitely been over 2 years,
Yeah, because
and every 3 months.
so in 2 years, people are still amazed that this happens, and I don't
Mhm.
understand it. Like, why not, man? You got a friend, and if you were like in New York or something, I could see every 3 months would be a little crazy. I mean, I just went to Chicago; it was almost $400 a ticket,
Right.
on a plane, and then you got to deal with being in Chicago and I staying with my family. But that's a whole different story. But
Oh, trust me. If I was in New York and with that ticket prices, because of how much of a budget I'm on, there's no way I would be seeing you every 3 months. Buddy.
yeah, and I mean that's probably a $500 ticket, so
Mhm.
that's 5 trips out here. So it's like $100 for a ticket or something. You can come out here, and that's your
Yeah.
round trip. So people are amazed by this for some damn reason, and I don't get it. Like, why not? It's just something to do.
Yeah.
And
Everybody thinks it's weird. Like, what? You come out here every 3 months?
right. And,
Dang. And you guys hang. Well, first of all, they're amazed that you and I hang out. And I guess we're the same, but we're different.
right.
So people are I don't know, constantly amazed at our friendship and amazed at the fact that we hang out together every 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's always the topic of conversation. Put it that way.
Well, as much of an asshole as I am, I'm amazed that some people are my friends. I have no doubts in the world why you're my friend. It's easily understandable because we are very similar in a lot of ways.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
Hey, I like assholes.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you gonna do?
So, but and on my end, I get why there's a weirdness to it. I guess because of the way I describe you to people.
Oh yeah, let's hear about that.
I
How do you
just
describe it to people?
and I do it this way because I like the reaction I get, and I knew the first time I said it, I knew what reaction I'd get, and I describe you as my gay black friend that I met on the internet. And that is the
It's
faces.
completely accurate, but that's hilarious.
It's totally accurate, but the faces I get are so fucking priceless. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna keep saying it because I keep getting that look, and I always say it to
Yeah.
new people, and it's fucking hilarious.
It gets to a point where people look at you too funny. It's like, dude, I don't have a problem with it. What's your problem?
Yeah,
Don't project your stuff onto me.
yeah. Well, and it's funny too because it's like, was it? I think it might have been the second trip you took out here. You told me that you were trying to bring back the word faggot. So,
My faggot crusade. It never quite made it. My faggot crusade, but yeah, the second trip, I was trying to bring back the word faggot.
and what did we do? We try. I told you that
Oh,
you
we
should.
tried it.
You should spend the entire night calling our friend Jeff faggot. Just
Oh yeah,
and
and I did.
it confused the shit out of him.
Yeah, I love to confuse them. Yeah, I
Yeah.
tried so hard to bring back the word faggot, and I made our buddy Jeff my test subject, and it just I don't know. It never quite caught on. He was just too confused, and it's obviously it's ironic.
Yeah.
I consider myself a gay man, but not a faggot. But
Right.
it is still ironic me calling somebody a faggot. So that was great.
And he's
That's
like,
always a good
why do you
time.
keep calling me faggot?
Because I didn't give him any warning or whatsoever. I just started calling him faggot out the blue.
Yeah, and so that was great. But, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, people are confused by it. But you can make friends in different ways. And I think most people are used to making friends at school and at work. And, I mean, I've got friends that I've had since I was 10 years old. Talking about enemies, my friend Kevin Keipel, I've known this kid since I was 10, and we were not friends at first. We were not friends at first at all.
Back when you were 10, you weren't friends?
No. We just fucked with each other constantly. And I still don't know why, but when you do that, sometimes there ends up being, like, this mutual respect. Like, oh, that was
Right.
fucking good. He got me. Oh, that was really
Right.
good. And whatever it was, it worked out, and we've been friends for,
Since you were 10?
10 or
did it happen after
I'm
that?
trying to think. It was 6th grade, so we were 10 or 11. So maybe we were 11. And so I'm 35.
Well, in your case, you've been friends for 50 years.
Yeah, but 24 years. I mean, it seems like a fucking long time. Most of my life, I've been friends with this guy, and
That's crazy.
he gets credit for turning me on to, stand-up comedy and listening to metal and getting into football and shit like that. He did all of that stuff. He got me into all that shit that I still enjoy today. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of music anymore, but that's, he gets credit for that. I love he's the first person that showed me George Carlin, and I was like, holy fuck,
Oh, nice.
this is what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Shit.
And he gave me Bill Cosby himself, which is, like any comedian will tell you, that's the Cosby album. And he gave me Stephen Wright, so I got like these snippets of all these different kinds of comics, and he really got me into stand-up comedy more than I'd ever been before. So he's a big part of my life for that reason alone. So, but I mean, we've been friends for forever, and but guys can do that shit. We don't get catty.
Guys can.
No.
Yeah.
And I heard, and I think the best reason for it, about guys not being catty and shit like women, Neil Brennan, the guy that used to be Chappelle's writing partner and stuff,
Okay.
I heard him say that the reason, and tell me if you think this is right, that guys don't get catty is because you can get punched in the face.
That's it. You know what? There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
That is.
And if you've been punched in the face, which I have several times, less than I would expect that I to be punched in the face, but
Right.
it's not
I've been
fun.
punched in the face once, but that's very true. I'm pretty sure that's a huge part of it. Yeah, because there's no unwritten rule about guys and punching in the face and stuff like that.
No, and you know what sucks about that is we're in a world where if you punch somebody in the face, you got to worry about being arrested, being sued, being dragged out.
Lawsuits.
Sometimes that fixes everything.
Mm-hmm.
I got punched in the face by this dude a couple years ago. I gotta say, before we started talking, a little bit before that.
Yeah, I was gonna say a couple years ago. I didn't hear about this one.
It was right before we started talking, and I got punched in the eye. I went to pick up my ex-girlfriend. She was drunk, and we weren't really together anymore. But this is my daughter's mother. We weren't together anymore, and it's before we knew she was pregnant.
Okay.
And she was at this party, and she was drunk, and she said, "Hey, I need a ride." And I'm like, "All right, I'll come get you," because I don't care who it is. If somebody calls me and they're drunk and they need a ride, I'll go get them. So
I'll keep that in mind.
the people at the party, it's going to be a long fucking drive. I'll be there in 6 hours.
Warriors. I'm over here on La Cienega. I'm drunk as shit. Can you come get me? These dudes are harassing me.
Just blow them all until I get there.
I'll be like, okay, I can do that.
Yeah. Oh, problem solved.
Yeah. 2-2. Okay, back to so she called you and these dudes were
So
harassing her.
she called me, and this guy that she knew from high school was at that time AWOL from the army, and he was hanging out there, and they wouldn't give me the address of where she was. It was him and his sister, and they were being assholes on the phone. So I just, you know me, I just started fucking with him. And I've never been in the military, but everybody, I'm the only male in my entire family. Only living male in my entire family that's never been in the military, because I don't like to take orders from people. It's just, and even my brother told me, he's like, you would get in so much trouble if you were in there. You would have been in so much constant trouble. It's good that you didn't go, you know?
Well, yeah, coming from somebody who's been in the military, I would agree with your brother, yeah.
Yeah, and
it's probably not a good place for you.
Yeah, and I knew that. And you think I'm an asshole now when I was 19? Holy shit, you know? But anyway...
to answer your question, yes, I do think you're an asshole now.
Yeah, of course. But
okay.
this guy was being an asshole on the phone. So I go for the jugular pretty quick most of the time. And I started calling him a pussy for going AWOL, and he got pissed off. So finally, somehow, she gets me the address. I go there, and I'm waiting. And I had this rodeo at the time, and I'm sitting there, and it's a nice night. I got the windows down, and I'm messing with the radio. Out of nowhere, I just feel a fist hit me right in the face, like right in the side of my eye. And all I said was...
What the...
I said, hey! Because
is that how you diffuse situations? A good old hey never hurt anybody.
Well, a punch in the face, if you never had one, doesn't really hurt that bad. It's just annoying. It feels like it just starts pulsing more. You get that pressure like when you got a bad bruise. It doesn't really hurt, the impact of it. Because it's just hitting bone, I mean, more than anything.
Right. I've had a sucker punch in the eye. When I was in Colorado. I've had it in a drunken bar fight. I've had a sucker punch in the eye. And yeah, you're right. It's just more annoying. And in my case, it was going to be more embarrassing because I had to go back to work in NORAD for the next 3 days with the big old black eye.
Yeah.
A black guy with a black eye.
Exactly. It looks slightly shaded.
Right, exactly. People didn't even notice. They're like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm like highlighting the area. Do you notice anything different?
It's swollen, so it just looks like you're winking all the time.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I just remember saying, "Hey," and I looked over, and it came back at me a second time, and he hit me a second time in the eye, and now I'm just pissed off. And I'm not in the best position to fight back. You know, I'm sitting down in my car. So all I could do was swing my door open real quick, and I kind of hit him with it, and it bumped him back a little. And he came at me, and I just swung and kicked him in the chin. You know.
You kicked him in the chin?
Yeah, that's all I could do. He was coming at me again, but he was pretty drunk. So he was coming at me again, and I kicked, and he sort of stopped in time, so it wouldn't be that bad, but I did make contact, and he kind of backed up. And then...
Well, let me stop you for a second. Let's talk about your stature for those of people out there who don't know you. Are you... you're not exactly Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, are you?
Fuck no. I am...
You're not a small guy, though.
No, I'm average. I mean, I'm 5'9", and by 5'9", I mean 5'8 3/4", but I round up. When I'm wearing my Skechers shape-ups, I'm 5'9".
Jesus Christ. Skechers shape-ups.
Who gives a shit? They feel good on my back. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm 5'9". I'm probably at that point probably about 160 pounds. You know, I'm about 165 now. And I'm not really built. I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm nothing. I mean,
but the one thing I will say that I know about you since I've known you for a while.
Yeah.
When you get pissed off, watch the fuck out.
Yeah. No, I have two very good things for me, and I probably credit this to when I was younger and like in high school, we used to go to a lot of metal shows, and we'd always go in the pit, and you get beat up a lot. and not like you're fighting, but you get knocked around, and you build a really good tolerance for pain. And I still
Right.
have that to this day. I guess I had it when I was a kid too, but I can take a hit, and it doesn't really stop me. You know what I mean? Like, you see, that's the way I heard boar hunting is: you shoot the thing in the head, and then it kind of shakes it off and keeps coming at you. You know what I mean? And that's sort of and I'm thankful I have that. And I also have, I'm stronger than most people expect me to be, and I don't know what that is. I think that's a genetic thing, because I've heard my dad is that way.
Hmm.
And I've heard that from my uncles, that my dad is kind of that way. And he's got sort of that same thing, like tolerance for pain. He used to get in a lot of fights when he was a kid. So, anyway.
Yeah, I don't want any parts of that. Of the. I don't know. I don't know exactly how much my tolerance for pain is, but I haven't had to test it that often. But if I get to a certain level, I'm not going to back down.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I have you with me. Okay, so this guy punches you through the window, and he punches you again through the window.
Right. And then that's when I opened the door to kind of just try to hit him with the door real quick and back him up. And it kind of did, but, not, he was sort of backed up anyway, so it kind of bumped him. And then he saw my foot coming, he stopped, but I still made a little contact. I don't think I did much damage. But then his sister runs out, and she just grabs on, and all my windows were open, so she wraps her arm around, like, through the open back window, and then onto the frame of the open door, and she's, like, trying to stop the fight and yelling at me as though I started it, but it's her brother. I understand that. You know what I mean? That's fine.
Right.
And he swings around her, and I grab his wrist with my left hand. Like, imagine his right hand comes through. Imagine somebody's right hand coming across, like, your chest, and he missed, like, trying to reach around her. So, like, hold your right hand in a fist, and then grab your wrist with your left hand. That's the way I had him. And I had his left hand, and I threw that fucking thing into drive. And I was going to gun it and drag his ass down the street.
Wait. Wait, you had his fist. You held his fist hostage.
Yeah. I had him by the wrist, and he couldn't pull away. And I threw my car in drive, and his sister, she must have been watching me. She let go of the car and pretty much, like, grabbed him and pulled him away as I was starting to go. So she saved his ass. And I called the cops, not because of the fight, but I'm like, this motherfucker's AWOL, and go get his ass. This is bullshit. Because my brother was in this shit during 9/11, all that. Whatever. He signed up on the list to go to Afghanistan. Thank fucking Christ he never did. But they never sent him there. They sent him to Japan to build bombs and shit. But it was a terrifying thing. But, he's like, well, this is what I signed up to do, so I guess I'm going to go do it. You know what I mean? And I was just I was angry. I'm like, I'm going to get this fucker busted. And that's a douche thing to do. But what happened later...
in other words, you became a tattletale.
Yeah, and
you became a well, at that time, what, 30, 31
I was
year old
31, yeah. So yeah, it's 4 years ago. So yeah, 31. So that means, yeah, 4 years ago. Fuck, that means I've known you almost 4 years probably.
Mm-hmm. There's the timetable right there.
Yeah, because it was, yeah. Okay. So
the years and months are piling up, dude. We're geezers.
most definitely. But I was more pissed about the way he was acting like a dick to me on the phone than the punch in the face. I swear to God. So I was like, "Fuck this asshole," and so I called the cops on him for being AWOL. I didn't care about the punch, but they ended up with a court date, and I was like, I didn't care as long as he went back and did his time. Then served his time, then I was gonna just tell the court, fuck it, let it go. I'm gonna drop it. And the court date came up. I got there, and I was like 5 minutes late because I couldn't find parking in downtown Phoenix. So they had to drop it. And the dude was sitting out in the lobby with his father. I didn't even recognize him because it was dark as shit when all this happened. It was like 2 a.m. And I looked at him and I said, "Hey, are you?" And I I can't even remember his name now, but I said, are you him? And he goes, yeah. And I go, how's it go? Just to show how guys can get along.
Now, was this a drunken thing? Were you guys drunk, or was
He
one of you
was.
drunk, or both
He
of you guys drunk?
was. And I was
He was
told,
drunk.
yeah, I was sober picking her up,
Okay.
picking my daughter's mom up, and but we right there in the courts we shook hands, and he's like, he's like, I'm sorry, man, I was loaded and I shouldn't have done that, and I was a dick, and I'm like, that's cool, man, and whatever, and we talked for about 5 minutes, and he told me about how he went back and he finished and he was done with the military and all that stuff, and I said, you know what, I was gonna come in here and drop it anyway because it's just bullshit and who cares, and it was cool, and we got along, and his dad's like, yeah, all right, just sitting there. So that shows you how two guys who could be like just fucking vicious toward each other at one point can get along. Girls could never do that shit.
It doesn't work that way with women. I don't know, for some reason. It's the age-old question, men versus women. But yeah, it definitely doesn't work that way. It's not the same thing.
No.
I think on one hand, as guys get older, it's harder for us to make friends. Usually once you get around mid-30s our age,
Right.
we have our set friends, and that's that. And there's that. We don't go around looking for new people for the circle. I mean, I kind of do, but in general, that doesn't really happen.
Well,
but as opposed to women, man, women are different, especially as far as making friends. They can make a friend like that and drop a friend just as easily.
yeah, and it can be over bullshit.
Over real bullshit.
And I'll agree with you where you say you don't go looking for friends at this age, but sometimes you still find them. And
Right.
you and I found a whole group of friends, again through a radio show we listened to, and we'll just say it's the Heidi and Frank show.
Yeah,
And,
Heidi and Frank show.
And if you're in L.A. or San Diego or Phoenix, like Frosty, Heidi and Frank, they were on the air, and Heidi and Frank are the 2/3 of that. And that's how we got to know each other, and we've made some friends through that. And you got to hang out with them. A bunch of them went to L.A. recently, and then we've had monthly things where we get together. So if it happens, it happens.
Right.
I agree that we don't go looking for the shit, because I could sit in my apartment in my underwear and fuck around on Facebook and write and watch Mad Men every day and be fine,
And you know what the funniest thing is? When we were first in the beginning stages, that sounds like that sounds really gay. That sounds like a relationship. When we were first in the beginning stages of our relationship,
yeah.
It was really weird because I was like, when I was actually thinking about, and we had made plans. I'm like, we're gonna come out over there. I'm coming on such and such date, and we're finally gonna meet up. And it was still a little weird because I'm like, I'm 30, I'm 30 something years old. Am I like, who is this guy? And I had some. I'm a little bit more happy-go-lucky, spontaneous, play everything by the moment. But even me in that situation, I'm like, I'm flying out to go meet a stranger, so I'll keep my, expectations low and keep my guard up.
Right.
But, anyway, even though I had known you online forever, but it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you never know, and you plan to stay at like a Motel 6 or something down the road.
Yep,
and
I was going to stay at the Motel 6.
And
I wasn't looking forward to that. But at the same time, I'm like, if it happens and it works out that way, then I'm going to stay at the Motel 6. Then if I'm going to the Motel 6, that's for the best, because I don't know these fucking people.
Yeah, exactly. But we ended up going to a party. I remember walking around with a 6-pack of Guinness, and I was drinking my Guinness one bottle at a time. And I don't remember when it was, if it was like November or some shit like that. Because it was cold enough out where you need like a light jacket, which is...
It was November. I'm pretty sure it was November.
Yeah, I think so. And it was, that's cold for Phoenix, but it was good enough to keep the beer cool. So I was sitting there walking around with my 6-pack of Guinness, drinking one at a time. And you were walking around with whatever the hell you had at I think you had a big 12-pack of MGD or some shit.
Yes, my MGD 64s.
But
I love them.
It really didn't take long, and we're talking and shit. I'm like, this guy's crashing in my place. Fuck the hotel. And I think we saw, I tried to see, but you saw a pair of boobies, and I like tried to make a peek around, but then she hit him because like, oh, he's a straight guy, so he's got a
Yeah,
he.
that never really works out for, especially chicks you don't know. That's where I shine.
It's like
That's my department.
that's pisses me off. But I did get to see other boobies later on. There was like a how old do you think that woman was? She was probably in her 40s.
Yeah, she's probably early to mid 40s, I would say.
Yeah, I would say middle 40s, and you can see it a little bit in her face. But she had a very nice body. She was like a calendar model, and showed us her boobs. I was like, and more than once. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
They were like,
She wasn't the first person. She wasn't the first one. She was kind of low on the end of the list.
right.
But we got to after the drinks started flowing, and after you and I got comfortable with each other, it got to a certain point where I'm just asking you like, all right, whose boobs do you want to see, Moyers?
Yeah,
I got it. I got it.
I do
Women
remember
respond
that.
to a gay guy, especially when it comes to boobs. I'm like, they are going to show me their boobs. So
But
who do you want to see?
the 40-year-old chick, she didn't care. She was showing everybody, and she did it right in
she
front of
didn't
her
care.
daughter. I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
her daughter and her son-in-law.
I remember that. I forgot all about that till you just said it right now. Yeah, that's right. The daughter and the son-in-law.
And I remember she was showing us her calendar. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, she's kind of hot. I mean, I don't generally go for older women, but you
Yep.
know, I was like, all right, I could see that. But let's face it, a lot of women in their middle 40s don't look as good as this woman did, and she's still at that time a calendar model.
Right.
And
you can say 40s is the new 20s all you want. A lot of times 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4, but in this case,
No.
yeah, 40s was definitely the new 20s. She seriously could have passed for mid to late 20s, definitely.
Her body. She did have a little
Yeah.
age in her face, and I'm usually
Right.
I hate when a woman asks me how old they think I am, or I think they are. Excuse me,
Yeah, that's a setup question.
because I'm usually pretty accurate, and I usually piss them off. And then I'm like, should I lie? And I go, I don't like to lie, and I don't. I'm not a person that lies a lot, and that gets me into plenty of trouble with people.
Yeah,
But-
we have that in common. I hate lying. It's just like, it's so much easier to just be real.
Right, and it's just like, fuck it. But whatever. She was. I'm sure she could get a 22-year-old guy anytime she wanted to.
Oh yeah, she definitely could have.
That wouldn't be a problem. And if a 22-year-old guy is smart enough to realize that a 45-year-old woman has plenty of experience and it will do things to him that he's never thought of, then good for him. But that's probably usually not the case. So.
The only thing that would have topped that night off, if I would have got lucky, but there was no sugar daddy. What's the male version of a MILF? There was no
I guess that'd be a
40-something-year-old dude there equivalent.
Yeah, I guess that'd be a DILF.
Yeah, there were no DILFs there.
There was nobody whipping out his dick. Hey, you want to see my
No.
cock?
It was not. But it was my first trip. It was my first time ever in the state of Arizona. Definitely my first time meeting you and meeting everybody. So
Oh yeah.
it was all right. I took it slow that day. I eventually warmed up. We'll talk about that whenever.
I'll leave that to you and how
Yeah.
much you want to talk about. But yeah, there's plenty to talk about when it comes to trip number 2.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, and it's as simple as that. Guys have a way easier time making friends, and and it generally happens organically. And just like, oh, look, you like football? Hey, I'm going to this thing over here. We're going to watch at this bar. You want to go? Hang out? Whatever, have some beer? Yeah, cool. Let's go. Or, hey, let's go to this MMA thing. Whatever it happens to be, let's go see Sound of Music together and hold hands. I don't whatever.
Wait. Pause. Stop the record. You went a little too far with that one. Unless you want to tell me something that I've never heard about.
For the record, I have never seen Sound of Music, and to my knowledge, as an adult male, I've only held hands with another man once.
Well, I've held hands with a bunch of dudes, but I've never seen Sound of Music.
Yeah. Well,
So
to be fair, I did the hand holding for the purpose of comedy, and
yeah, sure you did.
I'll do almost anything for the purpose of comedy. So almost anything. And if you ask David Hayes, our announcer,
Good old David Hayes.
it used to be this thing like we'd shoot movies and stuff out here, and he'd tell me something he wanted me to do in the movie, and I'd go, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that."
Something like what?
All right, fine.
Yeah, give me some detail. I want to hear this.
It would just be dumb stuff, and I'd go, "All right, fine. I'll do it." Like, we shot this short film called Undone, and it was gonna be, the idea was gonna be to mostly improvise it, and this is before Curb Your Enthusiasm, so now it's like a big popular thing. Okay, let's improvise.
Right.
But this before that happened. We started shooting this what ended up being a short film called Undone, and the concept was, there's a serial killer. He's a child killer. John Wayne Gacy style, whatever you want to say, but he killed a bunch of little girls, and the father of the very last.
So like Sunday viewing, right?
Like what?
Like Sunday viewing, family
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. Christmas morning with the family.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But the killer's last victim was the daughter of this guy who just, his life falls apart after his daughter's killed, and he hangs out at this bar across the street from the prison, and he befriends one of the prison guards who goes to the bar, and the prison guard, while this serial killer is getting transferred, gives the guy 24 hours with the killer. And Dave played the father, and I played the serial killer.
Oh shit!
And it's honestly, I don't think I'm a good actor, but of all the things I've done, I look at this, and it's the one thing I can say I did a great job. I'm proud of it, of my acting. And maybe it's because it was improvised, and Dave and I are very comfortable with each other, and we can play off of each other very well, and that's probably why it turned out as well as it did. And I can go to that little dark place, but
I'll be the judge of that. No, seriously, I'll have to check that out. This is my first time hearing about that, so yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, and
it definitely sounds intriguing.
And the thing in this movie that I didn't want to do at first, but then I said, "Fuck it, this is gonna be good, so I'll do it." And it's there's a very vile way that the serial killer gets killed, and it involves the anus.
You know what? It's funny. I guess because I've known you so long, I knew anus was coming up some kind of way. I knew anus was coming. Not saying that you bring up anus regularly, but I could just hear that you were building to something. I'm like, it has something to do with an asshole.
Right. So, and the worst part is, we didn't improvise this. Dave used to work with this guy, John Scott Mills, who directed the thing, and he shot it. He worked in the warehouse. They worked together at this place that rented audio-video supplies, and they were missing like $2,000 worth of equipment. These people rented and didn't return. So the owner says, call this guy up. He's a collections guy, and he can help with collecting the fees and whatever else. And John's like, all right, I'll call him. He calls the guy, and the guy says, well, if he doesn't return the equipment, what we'll do is this. And he describes this horrific scene in detail. And John was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck did you send me to call? and we used it for the movie. And if you check it out, there's a DVD, if anybody wants to watch it, called Horror Vault 3. And we were included on this DVD. And I'm pretty sure you can get it on Netflix. I'm not 100% on that. But
Horror Vault 3, because I want to check that out. So
yeah.
Maybe find it on Netflix?
Maybe on Netflix. I know it's on Amazon for sure. But, and I can't vouch for anything else that's on the DVD. I've never seen it. So I don't have a copy of it or anything, so I don't know what else is on there. But it's a few short films, and it's about 25 minutes, half hour long. But we've seen it screened in a theater at like Phoenix Comic Con. They had a little film festival, horror film festival, and they put it in there.
Okay.
And when that scene happens, my death scene, people just they have a horrific reaction, and it was so cool to hear everybody react to this. Yeah.
Now I definitely want to see this.
Yeah, so it's pretty fucked up, but anyway, that was one of those things where I'm like, I'm not gonna do it, but in the end, I'm glad I did because it worked out to be this great thing, and I don't know, sometimes shit's like that, and when you're doing entertainment stuff, you're gonna do a lot of stuff that you don't necessarily think. And I guarantee we're going to end up saying a lot of stuff and just getting into honesty that's like, oh, fuck, I said that?
Right.
I mean, are there things that you're worried about saying on this?
Me personally, no, there's not things I'm worried about saying. There's, no, I think I'm pretty much an open book.
Yeah.
I don't have, all that much to hide. I don't have as many exciting stories, in my opinion, I think, as you. I know you personally, so
Yeah.
I know you. But you have a little bit more going on as far as working. I'm doing finger quotes in the industry,
Right.
so I don't have any of those stories because I'm just a regular dude. I don't have any acting experience, no production. Well, some production, but no. Nothing on screen, per se.
Well, did you ever have any kind of aspiration to do anything like this?
No, actually, to tell you the truth, honestly, no. I'm a huge, big behind the scenes guy. Like I kind of like to mix it up with the quote unquote in crowd, and be there and get things going. But I'm always the background guy. I like to be the background guy. I'm not a spotlight on me kind of guy. So
Right.
This little podcast that hopefully 7 or 8 people will listen to is my biggest foray into having a light shined on me.
Yeah. Well, see, for me, it's funny because I've wanted to do something entertainment wise since I was about 12 years old. So this is perfectly natural for me to end up in. And when we talked about this, what was your first thought? Like, oh, yeah, I want to do that, or was it like,
My first thought, I had a little trepidation.
Yeah.
I'm like everybody I think everybody that I've heard, at least, I don't know any of the big guys, but everybody is like that I've heard of. It's like I don't like and I had that in common. I don't like my voice. I don't want to hear myself played back.
Right.
Blah blah blah. And I do a little work behind the scenes with another podcast, on the production level. So I do a little work there, but that's just behind the scenes. I'm very rarely on the mic, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But when we thought about this, I had a little trepidation. But after, a couple of days thinking about it, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it. Life is short. You only get one life, so let's do it.
Well,
let's do it. Let's see if anybody's even remotely slightly interested and see where it goes.
Yeah, and we can talk for fucking ever, pretty much.
Oh, yeah. We've always had that. That's one thing we've always had. We can talk about anything for ever.
Yeah.
We're holding it down to an hour for you folks.
Well, and for me, I don't drink too often. Like, although as I'm getting older, I kind of go, I kind of want a beer. You know what I mean? But I'm more of a social drinker, so when you come here, I'm drinking for the weekend, or however long you're here.
Oh, yeah.
The last, we had our get-together on a Friday night with a bunch of people, and that was one of those things, organically making friends. But, because we had a common interest. And that was, we spent all day drinking. We went to see Super 8, which we both loved watching. That was your second time seeing it.
That was a good day. That was a good day. That was my second time seeing Super 8, you're right. but just in general, that whole day was good. Like we discovered all types of different flavors of vodka, and we smuggled them in the movies, and it was good.
We were idiots. There's a Bevmo right by the theater. We're like, let's go back. We took a second trip back to Bevmo while we're waiting for the movie to start so we can get more alcohol. We brought gin with us, but then we ended up with vodka for the whole day, mixing.
Because what happened was we had to wait some. We had time to kill before we saw the movie, so we went to Bevmo just to kind of look around because it was there. There was nothing really else open. Well, everything was open, but nothing we would be interested in.
Yeah.
So we checked out Bevmo. And
well, let's not say that. You did go into what the hell is it? Bath and Body Works for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I
dragged you in there with me. I dragged Kevin Moyers and Bath and Body Works with me. I'm pretty sure people thought the hot chick behind the counter.
Well,
I'm like, she may think we're a couple, dude, because we were like there was another guy there, but we were one of the two. We walked in together.
Yeah.
So I'm like, as cute as she may be, she may think we're a couple, dude.
Oh yeah. There's no way that she thought anything different, because you're sitting here picking out what is it, like the plug-in air freshener scents.
I forget what they call it, like the plug-in air fresheners.
Yeah.
That's what they call it.
You're picking out different flavors of that shit. And I'm sitting there, I asked her a question about something, because it was a weird little rubber thing, and I didn't know what it was. I'm like, what is that, to like hold a Purell bottle or something? She's like, yeah, you can attach it to your purse. Or your man bag, or, and she was like, oh shit, what did I just say? And I was like, no, I get it. You're cool.
Yeah. She just basically, she thought she outed you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
I'm pretty sure you get that a lot hanging around with me.
Yeah. Well, that's not, that's probably not the only time I was thought to be gay. When I was getting married, which I'm not right now, but back, what was that, in 2000, I got married, and my friend John was with me, and they had their daughter and Rachel, and so it was me, John, and Rachel, who was little at the time. God, she's 11 now, so yeah, she was a few months old, and we go to the tuxedo place so he can try on his tuxedo, and John used to like to walk around with the snuggly thing, which I did with my daughter, and just the two of us walking, and I looked at him, I said, everybody in here thinks we're a gay couple right now. And he goes, you want to hold hands? And we just started cracking up. And I was like, we didn't. That is not my adult hand-holding experience. But we just started cracking up. We're like, yeah, whatever.
What are you going to do?
Yeah,
sometimes you just have to hold hands with the man.
So
what are you gonna do?
Especially when he took off the snuggly and handed it to me and I put it on. I was like, that's the moment when everybody's, oh yeah, okay, now we're sure.
Exactly. So. If they're gonna think it, might as well confirm it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was part of it. But yeah, it was an all-day drinking. That was a rough ass day.
That was did we go meet, we already mentioned Heidi and Frank earlier. Did we go meet some of the Heidi and Frank fans? Was that the same night, or was that the day before or day after?
That was that night, because...
okay, so we met them that night. Yeah, that's right. I remember texting a couple people.
I was off day. Yeah, and I don't always take days off when you're here because I don't get vacation days. I work for the post office. I'm a carrier. I don't get vacation days.
He's a mailman.
Yeah, mailman. But I'm at a level where I don't get benefits or vacation days and shit, even though I've been there 4.5 years. But whatever. Government at work.
Goddamn government.
So I had that day off, and we're like, let's just drink all day, like slow pace, and then we'll be primed and ready. And we did that, and then we went and met the other...
We did. Well, let me interrupt you for a second, because we did drink and slow pace. So we bought these little shooters. We bought tiny shooters, the
airplane bottles.
The airplane bottles.
Yeah.
We bought those, and, we walked away from Bevmo and just went and walked around and looked at some other stuff. Took a side trip at Bed Bath & Beyond. Yep. We're not getting paid for that. I just love Bed Bath & Beyond. So we took a side trip over there to Bed Bath & Beyond. And then, Fast forward maybe 45 minutes to an hour later, and we're like, you know what? That flavored vodka was pretty good. We might need to walk back over there and get some more because we still had maybe another 30 minutes before the movie started. So
Yeah.
we went back, and then that's when we really loaded up on the booze. We bought some for the movie after we had got the first one, and we bought some to bring home back later. It was the beginnings of a drunken night. Put it that way.
Yeah. And the bar was across the street from where I live, and I don't remember walking home. So it
You
was.
remember walking over there though, right?
Oh yeah, I remember going there,
We walked over there,
and I think
and
my blackouts didn't start until about a half an hour before we left. So that was pretty good most of the night.
yeah, you were a drunk motherfucker.
Oh
I made sure you got home good.
yeah,
But yeah, it was definitely a good night.
yeah. It was fun times. So.
Good folks, good drinks, good night.
Well, and apparently we're having the next meeting at somebody's house in 2 weeks. It was supposed to be Friday, but everybody's broke, so we were gonna go to a bar, but we decided somebody was like, "Fuck it, let's do it at my house." So in 2 weeks we're gonna do it at somebody's house, which is always the way I've preferred to drink. I'm not a big bar guy.
I'm happy somebody came up with that plan now that all the time I'm not visiting, but I
Yeah.
have plenty of time before I get back there again. So we'll definitely make sure to be it at somebody's house when I come back.
Well, and the great thing is it's close to me, so I don't have far to go. So that's nice.
Definitely.
But yeah, that was a long, interesting day. And then the next day, I had to work. And it was the longest fucking work day.
Yeah.
Because it was the first day that really monsoon season in Phoenix hit. And that just basically means it's fucking humid for a good 2 months. And it's horrible. And when it's 115 and it's humid and you're hungover, it's a fucked up day. And then
that's a bad recipe.
And then we continued drinking that night.
Yeah, of course we did.
Yeah, doing Jaeger shots, which I hate doing, and drinking beer. But I got loaded that night.
We're not going to take no breaks.
No, I got loaded that night, and it was fine. I had no problems. So I don't know.
Sometimes when you pile on to the night before, it actually makes you feel better.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes it's a bad idea. You have to pick and choose, but sometimes it makes you feel better.
Yeah, and it depends on how. Because I felt good in the morning. It was just working that was rough. Because it was so fucking hot. And I think it would have been easier if I wasn't buzzed. And the route I carried, I should have had done it 2 hours earlier than I did. But,
Yeah. And I think it should be mentioned that, you already covered we came home. And I pretty much walked you home. But we haven't mentioned the time. The time was...
Yeah.
In general... Every bar in the United States, except for maybe New York, closes at 2 a.m.
Well,
so
it depends.
Yeah, I guess it depends.
Because in Phoenix, the rules are it's 1 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, and then it's 2 a.m. Friday and Saturday. It was a Friday, so we were 2 a.m.
Okay, yeah. Well, long story short, this one closed at 2 a.m., and we fucked around in the parking lot. On you talking about some drunken stuff.
We did?
We fucked around, yeah. We fucked around in the parking lot for about, 30, 45 minutes. And
News
we came
to
home,
me.
Even though you live directly across,
Yeah.
literally. Like, people say that, but
literally.
All we have to do was just cross a street. Pretty much, that's it. Cross a street, and you live directly across the street. The bar closed at 2. We stayed in the parking lot till about 2:45, 2:50, and we got home at about 3:05.
Yeah.
And you had to be at work at what time?
I had to be at work at 8. I think I got there by 8:30.
Oh, and you was just so fucking belligerent and not angry belligerent, but you were just out of your mind.
Obnoxious.
And I'm like, yeah, just obnoxious. And I'm like, wow, I don't know how this dude is going to fucking get to work. I was totally expecting, like, I'm going to go over here in my guest room on the air mattress, and I'm going to wake up in the morning, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be here because there's no way he's going to work in 5 hours. But I woke up, and you were fucking gone.
No, I
couldn't believe it, dude.
No, I shouldn't say never, but I rarely call in sick. I got to be really sick, but I have never, ever called in hungover because I've been the boss. And I've had people calling hungover. It's like, no, you fucking asshole. You fucked up. You're not sick. You screwed yourself out of it. And now
Yeah,
you're
you put that
screwing
on
me
yourself.
because you had to go out and have fun. Meanwhile, I'm going in hungover, driving a mail truck around. That's
Yeah, that's what you want.
your government at work, people. Your government at work. Oh shit. Well, we're this is supposed to be an hour podcast. We're getting a little bit past the hour, but that's all right. It's our first one. We're kind of getting formulated, and this is like, to me, and we were talking about this before we started. This is like it's almost like clay. It doesn't have a perfect form yet, but we're
Right.
getting there. And one thing we wanted to do is kind of a podcast for guys, but we want we have a rare sort of opportunity that a lot of shows don't have, you know. And I mean, as dumb as it's gonna sound, I'm a white straight guy with a kid who has been divorced. I mean, I got things that are unique to me to the show. You're a black gay guy who you don't have kids. You're in a relationship. You're things like that.
No,
You have.
I put all my kids either in the sink or somewhere else.
But I mean, there are things that are unique to you, and I think
yeah.
there are people that are going to find some understanding of different things in this show, and though it's a guys sort of podcast, there are women that are going to listen to this that are going to understand guys a little better and different things, and I think that's kind of what I want to get out of this. Is I want people to kind of get an understanding for the way guys work, different kinds of guys, even though we're the fucking same. I mean, and in my drunken rant on that evening, I told people, I said I got 3 guys that I would definitely call my brothers that aren't related to me, and that's Dave, as we talked about, Jeff, as we've mentioned, and you. And
Yeah,
because
I'm happy to be part of the vote. That was a good moment for me too. Because I definitely, obviously, I agree with that.
yeah,
I'm free with the emotions. I'm not I'm not the typical gay guy where it comes to I'm not super gay, but I am stereotypically I'm good with the emotions. So yeah, I've always thought of you as a brother from the past. Maybe. I can't put a timetable on it, but
right.
you.
Well, and something I've said to many people is there's a difference between relatives and family. Relatives, you have no choice in your relatives. You get to pick your family. It's the people you care about and they care about you and whatever. So, in that I have brothers that aren't related to me. But
Right.
and that's fine. And people might get a different understanding of us and how guys work and things like that. And I like the ladies that listen to this to understand how guys work. It's different, and I think there's stuff that we can sort of help people with in a way just by our conversations. And I like that about what we can do with this show. So this is a little longer. This is going to be a little bit longer than the average show, but we're going to stick to about an hour most of the time. And you'll have this every week, and it'll be here. But one thing we did talk about was guy tips, like things you can do that make your life a little bit easier.
Yes.
And
tips for guys.
Yes, and the thing we want to talk about today was like cooking tips, simple things that you can do. And first one I want to say, nice and easy, something I always do and I like to do is when you get potatoes. Simple thing with potatoes, you might not think about. You get a big 5-10 pound bag. Nobody's going through that shit in 2 days. So what I do when they start to get to where, all right, I got to use them or they're done, dice them up, boil them, not crazy, don't go crazy boiling them, but just until they're a little bit soft, and then keep them in the fridge, and then you got those things for like 2 weeks. You fry them up with eggs, you boil them a little bit more, make mashed potatoes. You could do pretty much whatever the fuck you want with them, but once they're cooked, you got them, bam, you got them for everything, you know what I mean?
That's a pretty good tip. So you dice them up and then you put them in the fridge in
Yeah.
water, right?
Well, I dice them up.
Or just put them in the fridge just as is.
Well, I dice them up when they're getting to like, all right, I gotta cook them or throw them away.
When they get to the crucial point.
Yeah. I dice them up. I boil them, get them to just where they're soft, not too, because otherwise they get mushy.
Right.
And then I drain them out, put them in the fridge with no water, just as is, and then you pop them open, you grab a handful, throw them in with your eggs or whatever. You know what I mean?
Good
Cook
tip,
'em.
dude.
You're making steak or something. Fry up some fucking potato squares, man. You got little home fries that go with your steak or your burger or whatever you're making, and it's nice. And I do it all the time. It's an excellent thing to do when your potatoes are almost there. Nice guy cooking tip.
That's sweet. I would love to be able to afford steak.
I haven't had a steak that I bought. I get those little shitty strip steaks, and I'll make them with eggs sometimes.
I would love to be able to afford steak. I'm like, can I just try to get some ground beef and try to form it in the shape of a steak.
Got a rolling pin.
Yeah.
It looks like a steak.
Yeah, it looks like a steak. Yeah, but on that same note, I have a tip but my tip is about leftover chicken, especially leftover chicken. You can do it with chicken that's not leftover, also.
Racist.
But yeah, I am racist. Keep that in mind, folks. I'm racist. But you can do especially with chicken breasts. It's endless. Chicken tostadas, chicken nachos. You know, I like to. A lot of people don't know that chicken and eggs in the morning.
Oh, fuck yes.
Especially, with a little bag of cheese and maybe some salsa, some onions diced up in it. It's perfect.
That's
perfect. That's
like having mama and baby for breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. Which came first?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna eat both of those fuckers. and even chicken soup, just like, throw a pot of water, some veggies, and some bouillon. That word is always odd to me. Bouillon. I don't know how it goes.
It sounds like something you should say after you punch somebody in the face. Bouillon!
Hey, motherfucker, you talking shit about my girl? Bouillon!
I can see it too. I'm going to do that. The next time I get in a fight with somebody, I'm just going to pop them, bouillon! And they're going to go, what?
Oh, man.
You talking about soup?
Please try to just wait a few months until I'm there. I want to see you punch somebody and say,
all right,
booyah.
next time you're here, we're going to get in a bar fight. Or I'm going to come to LA in October, so we'll get in a bar fight, and I'm going to yell bouillon on somebody.
This time I'm there, okay, listen, we're going to go to Bed Bath & Beyond and hold hands and go get some fruit-flavored vodka and go punch somebody in the face and say, bouillon.
Well, I'm going to say it with some more emphasis like that.
Yeah, that's how you say booyah. That's how you're going to have to say it after we hold hands and drink food vodka.
The way you said it was, sorry, but faggy. You said, bouillon.
I know. That's why, considering the fact that we're going to drink fruity vodka before.
I guess that's true.
And hold hands walking to Bed Bath & Beyond.
So you want me
to say bouillon.
Oh, that's fucked up. All right. God damn it. All right. So, well, I'll give one more one more quick one. Besides bouillon, things there's
I like how you man bouilloned up.
Yeah, to make it manly. Bouillon.
Bouillon.
See, you just fuck it up.
All right, that stops. Go ahead and one more tip.
See, now I wish you had your original Skype picture, because that with the way you just said bouillon and oh god,
that was perfect, right? That was perfect. That was perfect fit.
Please tell me you have that picture, because we're gonna put it up on the Facebook page, because
I still have it. We'll put it up.
That is such, and you got to put it just with the word bouillon.
Bouillon.
Oh my god, it is. You are not a stereotypical you're not a stereotypical gay guy at all. You're not Billy Crystal on Soap. You know what I mean? You're not that guy, but that picture, man, was so perfectly gay that well, how long did I laugh yesterday? 20 minutes at that
You
thing?
laughed about 20 minutes. But you know what? On that note, I want to say something real quick because I know we're wrapping up here, but I want to say something real quick. I'm not. Well, okay. How to grammatically how to put this? I'm not stereotypically gay on purpose. I have no. It's just everybody is who they are.
Right.
I get confused for a straight guy all the time, and it kind of bothers me. But I get over it. So I'm not doing anything on purpose to be trying to consider a straight guy. I have no desires to be straight, and that's not my thing.
No.
I get that a lot, but yeah, it's since you mentioned it, I want to put that out there.
No, you're not. You're not. No, you're not at all the guy. Like if a straight guy's making the gay voice or whatever, you're not
Right.
that guy, and that really has nothing to do with you and I getting along as well as we do. Because I'm friends with that guy a couple times
Yeah.
over, and you've met a couple of the guys I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm friends with that guy too.
Yeah,
On the guy you're talking about and other guys.
yeah, and it's like you
But I can
just
still say booyah.
yeah. But that's something you're gonna get easily. We're both genuine people. I mean,
Yeah.
you're who you are, and I'm who I am. We're not putting on any kind of. This is just a conversation, and we're sharing
Yeah,
it with
exactly.
people, and it's ridiculous. And I mean, we're talking a little bit differently in the way that we're trying to address the audience now and again, but. Other than that, we're just having the same stupid conversations that we normally have, which
Yeah, same
was
shit, different day.
the whole point of this. So, I don't know, but I say we take our break here, and we hold off the rest for the next show. We got past how we met, how we got in it, and I can't believe it's more than an hour that we got out of
Right, I
that.
know.
So, as you could tell, we can talk. So
Yeah. We can. Hey, and for the record, especially Kevin.
oh
Kevin
fuck.
especially can talk.
Here's the sad part. Here's to prove that I can talk. I have another podcast that I do, and I'm working on 2 more that I'm going to be on. So, but one of those.
Well, while we're on the subject, I have another
Yeah.
podcast that I don't do, but I am involved with another podcast. And maybe one of these days we'll see about getting that name out there.
We'll do all of that because I want to see. I do want to talk about that shit. How you got into all of that, and that's
Yeah.
same way we ended up being friends and things like that. So we'll get into. There's plenty of hours to be had. We got an hour every week to do this. So
Yep.
we definitely appreciate everybody that came over and checked it out, and some of you are our friends and know us. And then some of you might be strangers that checked it out, and we appreciate that. And some people might download this a year from now when they want to catch up on what we're doing. So that's
After
great
one
too.
of us has died.
Yeah.
Like, you hear that gay dude Cam died?
Yeah.
Let's check out his podcast.
Well,
me dying could be the best thing for the show, dude.
you have a more likely chance of it than I do. Although
Right, and we'll talk about that at another time.
yours is more likely by health. Mine is more likely by somebody just getting pissed off at me.
Wait, we'll talk about that at another time, but I just do want to be clear that it's not HIV.
No,
I
it's
do
not.
have HIV.
It is not.
Or AIDS.
No, not.
Okay.
It's not a
Just for that to
sexually
be clear.
transmitted. Yeah, I'm glad you.
It's no STD.
I'm glad you said that because
because I thought about that after I said it. I'm like, wait a minute, people are gonna think I'm gay, and they're gonna think I have HIV or AIDS.
I didn't even think about that. Everybody's like health related. Oh, he's got AIDS. He's got the HIV.
Yeah.
No,
as far as STDs go, I'm completely healthy in
No.
that regard. Thank you for caring, people.
yeah. Oops. All right, but yeah, we'll get in. There's so much to get into and tons of shit like that. So, and we didn't even need our news stories and shit like that. We just, and I doubt we ever will. To be honest with you, I mean, we might find things we'll talk about, but
Maybe one day we'll get around to news and things of that nature.
right. But until then, place we want you to go to find all of this shit, all the podcasts that we're talking about and things like that. You'll find everything at abnormalentertainment.com. Abnormal Entertainment is our home. There are going to be several podcasts that come out of this. This is going to be the first, but
Yes.
we're going to see a lot of shows come out of this. We're going to have a sports show. We're working on a show about comic books, if that's what you're into. So we're going to have a little variety, and then there's who knows what else we're going to come out with after this. But
Yep. And if you ever want to find us and send us an email about any topics you're interested in, or you want us to discuss on air, or any stories you want to tell on air, and we would definitely probably talk about it. Keep that in mind at RYS, short for Raise Your Spirits, ryspodcast@gmail.com.
that's right. And I like how you said definitely, probably.
Definitely, probably. But
That means if we think it's interesting.
definitely, I don't want to promise the people everything.
Look, don't send us dumb shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if somebody comes in and talk about the shape of the dog shit, then we're probably not going to talk about that.
Right. But
And we also have a Facebook. You want to tell them about the Facebook?
yes, facebook.com/RYS podcast. We're just getting started there, and we'll post everything there. So it'll be fun. It'll be interactive, and we want to talk to you guys. We want to hear from you guys. I enjoy the shit out of it. I wrote a blog called Kevin Hates Everything that I haven't touched. I wrote it for 1 year. It was like a writing experiment for me. Did it for 1 year, and I just got a message like a week ago, and I ended that in March of 2010. So crazy.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I fucking love Kevin Hates Everything. I'm really sad that it's gone. I loved Kevin Hates Everything.
Well, now I have Knock It Off Douchebag, which is similar to Kevin Hates
And I
Everything.
love Knock It Off Douchebag. Knock It Off Douchebag is great.
Well, we're going to connect it all to abnormalentertainment.com. It's all going to be there. Dave and I have been friends for almost 10 years. God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And, I love the guy to death, and Abnormal Entertainment was his little brainchild, and
That's his baby.
we've all brought things to the table. If you want to look at like cinemaheadcheese.com, that's a big review site we work on. That was kind of Dave's idea, and Jeff Dolniak, he's the brains. I honestly, at this point, he's the guy that keeps that pumping, and I'm the guy that gets the podcast for that website going, and I'm the guy behind the podcast, and now you're here and you're doing production stuff. And so it's just we're growing, and we're staying in this little group of people that we enjoy doing this, and it's fun. And
We're trying here, folks. We're a bunch of friends, and we all love each other, and we're trying to get something out. Hopefully, that's quality and worthwhile.
and that's it. It all started with Dave, and I don't think he expected all of this stuff that came out of it. So, what are you gonna do? It happens.
Yeah, I love to blow Dave's mind.
Yeah. So, and really, I don't think any of us, not to stroke his dick anymore, but I don't think any of us would be doing all this stuff if it really starts with him. If you go back in time, I wouldn't be doing all this stuff I'm doing if it wasn't.
He is the mad genius.
For Dave. Yeah, he got me in my first movie as a character named the Head, and I'm gonna thank Dave right now for giving me
That's
Head.
apropos.
Yeah, I gotta thank Dave for giving me Head, because I'm never gonna get to make that Oscar speech.
Yeah, you can't make that. I also would like to thank Dave for giving me Head. Wait, what?
That's a totally different thing, and he was drinking a lot of Captain and Coke. So.
I'm just kidding, Sandy Hayes.
Oh God, I'm telling you. All right, well, thank you
Let's
guys.
get out of here.
Thank you guys for listening. We're heading out of here, and my drink is almost empty. Thank God. And
Mine too.
so until next time, I say cheers. I think that's a good sign off for us.
Cheers.
Raise your glass and cheers. Thanks for listening.
Cheers and raise your spirits.
All my love is a compilation of the ones that I have grown to trust. We have withstood the test of time, and your consistently still kind.
Well,
I know the abnormal one.
yeah.
Fill your glasses and raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah, say it's time to fill your
Okay.
it's time to fill your glasses and raise your spirits.
Right now?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. It's time to fuck it up. It's time to fill your glass and raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin.
Nice. Want to do one or two more?
Yeah, sure. Should I change them up a little bit?
Yeah, if you want. Go for it.
It's time! It's time! It sounded like the Halloween 3 stuff. Do-do-do-do-do-do. 3 more days to Cam and Kevin, Cam and Kevin, Cam and Kevin. 3 more seconds to Cam and Kevin. Raise your spirits. You'll probably use it.
He might. Oh, shit.
Okay, I'll do another one.
Good.
Fill your glasses and raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin. Do a body shot. They will.
Oh, God. All right. You want to do one more? Just for
I'll do one more.
say it's time this time.
It's time to fill your glasses and raise your spirits with Cam and Kevin. Kevin's doing gin. Cam's doing 3-ounce protein shakes.
I can't wait till he listens to this shit. Oh, God. That's perfect.